Like the video and subscribe right now, and let's check some fun facts about Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was born on July 10, 1856. He was born around midnight during a fierce lightning storm. The midwife thought it was a bad omen and that he would be a child of darkness, but Tesla's mother prophetically said, "No, he will be a child of light." He had 4 other siblings, 3 younger sisters and an older brother. When he was 17, he had cholera. His father wanted him to become a priest, but during his sickness, he promised to send Nikola to engineering school if he recovered from the cholera. After a near-fatal case of cholera as a teenager, Tesla became obsessive about germs and cleaning everything. He has an extensive and rigid personal hygiene routine, used 18 napkins to wipe his dining room every night, and wore white gloves to every dinner. During his first year at university, Tesla had highest possible grades and passed almost twice as many exams as were required. Towards the end of his second year, Tesla lost his scholarship and became addicted to gambling. Eventually, he gambled away his budget and tuition money. He later gambled back his losses to pay back his family. Tesla dropped out from school and never graduated from university. He cut off communication with his family to hide his failure, which caused some people to think he was dead. In 1882, Tesla got a job working for Edison. This job eventually led him to emigrate to the United States in 1884, and later on he became a naturalized citizen in 1891. When Tesla made the move to New York City from Europe, he arrived with only 4 cents in his pocket. He had an amazing memory. Tesla had the power to memorize entire books and pictures with great detail, which is assumed to be part of the cause of his terrible nightmares as a child. He also had visions of numerous inventions filed away in his brain, many of which never made it onto paper. One of Tesla's most unique attributes was the ability to visualize in 3D, allowing him to see all sides of an invention before it was created. While working for Edison, he was asked to improve a generator design for a large bonus. Upon completion, Edison stole the design and never paid Tesla. Tesla quit shortly after. Surprisingly enough, Tesla never received a Nobel Prize. Nikola would walk to the park every day to feed the pigeons. At one point, he continued to be visited by an injured pigeon every day, so he spent over $2,000 to build a device that would fix her broken wing and leg. Every day, Tesla worked from 9 in the morning until at least 6 at night, and he always had dinner at exactly 8:10 p.m. at the same restaurant. He would phone in his dinner order to the same waiter who was also the only one to serve him the food. He usually ate alone, except on rare occasions. Afterwards, he would continue working usually until 3 in the morning. Tesla has about 300 patents worldwide, although many of his inventions were never patented. Every night, Nikola curled his toes 100 times every night because he claimed that it stimulated his brain cells. Towards his later years, he became a vegetarian and only lived off of milk, bread, honey, and vegetable juice. Tesla says he never slept more than 2 hours a night, but he did doze off now and then in order to recharge. On one occasion, he worked for 84 hours without resting. Nikola never had any relationships because he didn't want to distract from his work. He also believed that women were superior to men. He had an obsession with the number 3. Tesla only lived in hotel rooms that were divisible by 3, and he did everything in sets of 3. Coming from a family of heavy drinkers with long lives, he thought that drinking whiskey every day would help him live to 150. Even with all of his contributions to science and technology, Tesla died broke and alone. He had an obsessive personality. Playing into his stereotype of a mad scientist, Tesla suffered from many characteristics that today would likely be classified as obsessive-compulsive disorder. He was obsessed with the number 3 and detested jewelry, round objects, and touching hair. He was particularly wary of pearls and wouldn't talk to women wearing them. He even sent his secretary home when she wore pearl jewelry. We can credit him for the idea of wireless internet and smartphones. Believe it or not, in 1901, Tesla actually had the idea for a wireless way to gather information, coded in his lab, change the frequency, and broadcast it to a handheld device, nearly exactly how our smartphones work today. Like many of Tesla's great ideas, it was never created or tested. He lived in multiple Manhattan hotels. Throughout his life, and especially towards the end, Tesla lived in a long line of Manhattan hotels. At the height of his career, has lived in the Waldorf Astoria, which is part of the reason he had so many famous friends, including conservationist John Muir and bankers Henry Clay Frick and Thomas Fortune Ryan. However, Tesla was focused more on humanity and his experiments than money, so he was never rich and died quite poor, despite his famous friends. Many of his inventions are still classified. Tesla died in 1943, but some of his inventions and experiments are still classified by the US government. After his death, all of his possessions were seized by the Office of Alien Property and eventually released to his family, but a few select items are still behind lock and key. The US government thought German spies were using Tesla's creations. Tesla built a 185-foot tower in Long Island, New York called the Wardenclyffe Tower. He used the massive machine to conduct many of his wireless power transmission experiments in the early 1900s and believed it had the power to suck electricity out of the sky. Authorities became worried the Germans were using the tower for radio transmission during World War I and blew up the tower, though some people believe the story is a cover for Tesla to scrap the materials because he was out of money. The remains of the tower are being converted to a Tesla museum, funded through crowdfunding and a $1 million donation from Tesla Motors CEO Elon Musk. He electrified butterflies and blew out power stations in Colorado. Tesla moved his operations near Colorado Springs in 1899, in order to take advantage of the great amount of space available for experimentation. Experiments in a lab with an 80-foot tower, 142-foot metal mast, and enormous Tesla coil, formed massive bolts of artificial lightning that supposedly created thunder and errant sparks 15 miles away, surprising people and frightening horses, and surrounding butterflies with halos of St. Elmo's fire. It's not clear if Tesla succeeded in the wireless transmission of power. He didn't really sit in a room surrounded by lightning bolts. That famous photo of Tesla sitting on a chair in his laboratory, and calmly examining his notes while tremendous bolts of lightning flash around him, was likely the result of a double exposure. Yet the image, taken at his Colorado lab and used as publicity to generate capital for new projects, captures the public's fascination with a scientist whose prowess made him seem a magician to many. He wanted to illuminate the entire Earth, literally. Tesla believed that his work had the potential to light the Earth's atmosphere, banishing darkness and bringing in a new era of light. He theorized that gases in Earth's upper atmosphere were capable of carrying high-frequency electrical currents, and successful transmission of such currents there could create a terrestrial nightlight that would make shipping lanes and airports safer and illuminate whole cities. But like most of Tesla's loftier aims, this goal was never realized, and its possibility remains unproven. Mark Twain owes him for shaking his constipation issues. Tesla was constantly looking for more efficient energy sources and built a high-frequency oscillator, known as an earthquake machine, which shook his Manhattan neighborhood when he conducted experiments. Tesla invited his friend Mark Twain, who was known to have constipation issues, to stand on the machine's platform while he turned it on. Within minutes, Twain was running to the bathroom to relieve his problem.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more daily videos.